Hello and welcome to Entpgathering, Science and Spirituality meeting with a timeless synchronicity reading for the MBTI of the INTP. My name is Brandon Curtis. I'm an MBTI certified practitioner, an NLP certified practitioner, and I created this channel for you, members of the MBTI community, specifically the intuitive dominants, so that I could impart to you, teach you how to use your functions and develop cognitive flexibility. And I use this through tarot. I use tarot and astrology and numerology and all of these seemingly disparate typology systems to prove to you, my lovely INTP, that they're all related to your zodiacal astrological chart. For all of the celestial bodies in our solar system influence the energies and our cognitive functioning. Now, mind you, cognitive functioning and your cognitive function stack of the INTP, which is in your dominant position, introverted thinking, in your auxiliary position, extroverted intuition. In your tertiary position, you have sensing, and in your inferior functioning, you have extroverted feeling. I do not assign a polarity to the tertiary function. Why? Because 3 is the first number of the universe that can create something. And in using my readings here at Entpgathering, it's important for you to begin to change your perception of that third function. It is not SI necessarily. This is just what you've conditioned, what you prefer to use based on your childhood conditioning. And your egoic cognitive function stack is developed by the age of 14. So today, without further ado, I'm just going to give you a little bit of heads up about what to expect in this reading and how to best utilize this time together. I'm using the Jungian Tarot by Robert Wang, and I'm going to start out by pulling 3 cards, one each for the first 3 chakras, to find out what kind of energy is going on in your life right now. Take only what resonates. If something, a message, and I know you're going to be very skeptical of all this hullabaloo, INTP, believe me, I know. My reported type is that of an INTP. My best fit type is ENTP. And from a very early age, once my cognitive function stack was set by the age of 14, I intuitively understood that I need to develop cognitive flexibility. I'm a quad Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, plus Saturn. I have a 12th house stellium, which is 3 or more planets in the same house or in the same sign. My life path number is 3, my self-expression number is 3, my challenge number is 6, and my soul urge number is 9. It just so happens, and there are no coincidences, and these readings will prove it to you, INTP, that my so-called Enneagram type is that of the counterphobic 6 with a wing 5, and the subtype of the intimate one-on-one or sexual subtype. My tri-type is 369. Again, there are no coincidences, and my hope here at Entpgathering is to teach you how to cognitively flex your function preferences, get out of this dominant function grip that many of us live in, and further develop your inferior function, and then learn how to grow your third function, that of the perceiving function of sensing. So without further ado, take only what resonates, don't force anything, and look for, and you'll be quick to judge this and be skeptical about, but look for synchronicities in this reading. A synchronicity, as defined by Carl Jung, and know that Jung himself used tarot to aid his progress through the individuation process, aka the dark night of the soul, aka spiritual awakening, or, as I perceive it, developing cognitive flexibility within your cognitive function stack and preferences. So without further ado, let's begin with the Synchronicity Oracle by Etan Illfeld. It's comprised of, I can't remember how many cards, maybe 55. And on each card there are, I believe, 8 images, archetypes. And what I'm looking for in the first 3 cards are the images or symbols that the 3 cards share. The root chakra is earth energy, it's the color red. It's the place where we hold all of our fears, anxiety, and where we build our foundation for the remaining chakras, all the way to the crown. So it's where we build and maintain our sense of security and well-being. I hope you're all doing well. Please give us a like, a share, a comment. I'd love to hear how this resonated with you. And of course, I'd love to gather as many intuitive dominants into my channel at Entpgathering. You can also check out my bio and my services at entpgathering.com. All right, without further ado, Spirit, Universe, what's in the root chakra? What is in the sacral chakra? And what is in the solar plexus chakra? Ah, wow, okay. I see the connector between the sacral and the solar plexus is that of the lion, Leo, ego, sun, energy. And the connecting is the arrow between. All right, so as this is a relatively new deck to me, and also because I respect the time and energy put into the creation of this deck by the author, I'm going to be reading from the book. The arrow is about focus, decisiveness, direction, opportunity, tunnel vision. Very TI, my INTP. Symbolism is the arrow has been one of man's oldest and most reliable tools, although few practice the art of archery these days. Zen and the Art of Archery is a great book to read. There is still much to learn from this ancient art form. Archers use the Greek term kairos to refer to a long tunnel-like opening through which they must shoot their arrow with power and precision to hit the target. More broadly, Jung interpreted kairos as the ideal time to accomplish a vital action and paired the concept with synchronicity. We have the ability to gather energy and focus on a single direction just as the bow does when it propels an arrow forward. A skilled archer knows that they have to believe in their ability to hit a target in order to achieve a bullseye. Similarly, skiers say that you tend to go where you're looking. In other words, if you focus on where you want to be, you will find that life will provide the resources and propel you in the right direction. Remember to concentrate on one thing at a time, even though you can have multiple goals. Each arrow must be cast at its appropriate time. What are the current goals you want to focus on? This is connecting your root chakra with your sacral chakra. I mentioned the basics of the root chakra, serving as the foundation. It's our seat of anxiety and fear and worries, but also where we ground ourselves and really build and nurture a sense of security in our lives. So it's money, it's coupling and relationships and sex. So right now, INTP, take only what resonates. You are after a sense. You are learning the art of archery. You are and you can, with your dominant function of TI, identify synchronicity in the external environment. Your dominant function is a judging function. And maybe what I'm hearing is that you're also realizing or coming to the realization that as above, so below, as within, so without, that your internal environment literally creates your 3D reality, and vice versa. What you pull in, what you judge outside in your external environment is pulled in, and it becomes you. It becomes a part of you, and vice versa. There's a nice synchronicity in identifying external objects that you resonate with, which is the whole point of these readings, by the way. This is a timeless synchronicity reading, yes, for the INTP, but it's a general collective reading, so not everything I am saying is going to resonate with you. And this develops further your art and practice of discernment, being able to identify with the precision of hitting a bullseye with that arrow TI. What is yours? What you resonate with, or what resonates with you? So I see that from your root chakra, moving into your sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is feminine energy. It's a color orange. It's our seat of creativity and sacred sexuality. And it's feminine in its elemental nature. Where the root chakra is earth, that's also feminine, but the root chakra serves as a foundation for the remaining chakras. So, feminine energy is dark energy. It's creativity. It's literally giving birth. In the solar plexus chakra, that's where masculine energy, the color yellow, the planet Mars, where sacral would be Neptune or the moon, and the root chakra would be Venus, possibly, and Mars as well. Kind of a combination of the two, but feminine in nature, grounding earth energy. And as a quad Taurus, I know this energy very well. It should serve as a foundation. I mean, just think of Gaia as a feminine. Gaia is actually a single life or organism, as far as I'm concerned, and we are like the bacteria, the single-celled organisms of Gaia's gut. Just as we have a whole biome of other creatures that are not us living in our intestinal tract, that feed us life-giving energy, that keep us healthy if we are eating correctly. So I digress a bit. The connecting image from the root to the sacral is that of an arrow. So right now, INTP, you are looking for synchronicity in your life. You're looking for, to ground yourself in what you know to be true. I'm also sensing there's a bit an over-reliance on being perfect and exacting, where you'll need to, here's the message, take only what resonates, you'll need to loosen up a bit. TI as a dominant function, I know it very well. I experienced it and lived it early on, up until I'd say my 20s, when I decided that I was no longer going to sit on the outside of the ball game and watch as an observer. I wanted to jump into the game and actually become a player. And that brought a lot of anxiety and fear within and out of me. But I pushed through it and thus, developed cognitive flexibility and switched TI and NE. And my best fit type is that of an ENTP. Check out the reading I just posted and older readings for the ENTP and also the INTP. Oh, and I did not mention. I mentioned your cognitive function stack, which represent your ego. I did not mention your shadow stack, which is that of the ENTJ, which is TENI, sensing, and then FI in the inferior function. Your subconscious egoic stack is that of the ESFJ, with FE as your dominant function, SI as your auxiliary, N or intuition as your tertiary position, and introverted thinking as your inferior function. Your superego cognitive stack is that of the ISFP, with FI as your dominant function, SE as your auxiliary, intuition as your tertiary, and extroverted thinking as your inferior. So, arrow, root, sacral, and from the sacral to your solar plexus, which is the color yellow, it's masculine fire energy, think Leo, Aries, even Sagittarius, but it's the planet Mars. So I would even include Scorpio in that as well. These readings are meant to not only teach you about cognitive flexibility and cognitive preferences, but also to teach you how to recognize synchronicity in your life, and also to safely, consciously use your shadow functions, that of the ENTJ, to drop into your shadow and retrieve those precious gems that are in there that were not allowed to shine when you were younger. Intuitive dominants, we've had really difficult early childhoods. And this is across the board, I found this to be true. And that is to say that not all of us are messed up. A majority of us are. But this was a way for the universe to teach us many great lessons, because we are all meant to be great leaders. We're meant to be the new scientists and the new psychologists and the new philanthropists as we leave the age of Pisces and move into the age of Aquarius. In addition to cognitive functioning, learning you'll get at Entpgathering, I'm going to teach you about how all these seemingly disparate typology systems, astrology, numerology, even the so-called Enneagram, human design. I have links in my description box of where you can test how neurodivergent you are, INTP, and where you may fall on the autism/Asperger's spectrum. All of these typology systems are related to or based on your zodiacal chart. Yes, it's true. Jung himself used tarot, used divination tools, and the tarot is comprised of 78 cards, major arcana, which describe the hero's journey, 16 court cards, which describe energies of masculine and feminine and the inner child, and energy of action. And then there are minor arcana cards, 10 for each element: fire or intuition, air or swords or thought, thinking, judging function, cups or feeling, judging function, and water, which is about values and emotions. And finally, sensing, which is earth energy, or pentacles in the traditional tarot. So you're connecting between the sacral chakra, which is all about this creative, feminine water energy, is that of the lion. You have a fierce lion, Leo energy, masculine energy. But the lion actually is feminine. It's nurturing, and it's also in your solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus is where we express the creativity, where we express the anger or anxiety or sense of security found in the root chakra. All these first three chakras are really, really important to understand what energy you have in them, in the now, in the moment, and to ensure that they're well balanced, that one is not disproportionate to the other two. Because you can't rely on one or put all of your energy in one. So let's read the description of the lion. And then we'll move on to the Jungian Tarot, and I will do a Celtic cross spread of 10 cards and relay further messages to you. And then we'll end the reading. The lion, keywords: courage, strength, playful, pride, and authority. The lion is the king of the beasts. It is fierce and wise. Fierce and wise. A nocturnal hunter, the lion symbol may indicate that you are hiding something in your own mind, TI. Relying too much on your dominant function, in other words. It reminds us that we should fight for what we believe in. The lion is able to overpower situations and win its lion's share. In astrology, a Leo is often described as being playful, fiery, passionate, and generous. Leo rules the 5th house of your zodiacal chart. The sun is its planetary ruler. And 5th house energy is very much about what we entertain. It also represents the entertainment industry. It's about expression, both sexual expression, it's masculine energy. Fire is masculine, along with air, where earth and water are feminine in astrology, elemental energy. But 5th house energy, Leo energy, is largely about the ego. And maintaining a healthy ego is about balancing the masculine and feminine in each of us. Thereby, we create self-love, we create self-understanding before we couple, before we form external partnerships with others, whether they're romantic or platonic. A lot of my readings will go back to this very basic idea that you must, in this lifetime, in order to balance out your chakras or create a firm foundation in your root chakra, you really need to balance out your masculine and your feminine within you. This creates self-love, self-acceptance. It creates compassion. And, as an INTP or an intuitive dominant, period, again, I go back to early childhood conditioning and how many of us were presented with life lessons that most of the world, or i.e. censors, they would not be able to withstand. This is by design, by the creator, by the universe. Take what you will. I know many of you are probably atheist or at least agnostic, or you may have been raised and conditioned early on in a very conservative, conventional, religious family. Either way, know that indeed the planets influence us, our creator, the universe, whatever you prescribe to gives us free will. And let's say you are atheist, as I once was for most of my life. It wasn't until my spiritual awakening, it wasn't until I initiated my own dark night of the soul through Carl Jung's individuation process, without having read, to this day, one jot that he has written in any of his books. I did my own research, and I studied each cognitive function through wonderful teachers, fellow Intp, C.S. Joseph, and others out there on YouTube, and typed myself, understood how the subjective experience of NEI, or NEI, what did I say that? NE or TI is what's my subjective experience of these cognitive functions, should they exist? And how do I use them? I spent about a year typing myself, both through all the various MBTI testing instruments, 16 personalities, which is junk, by the way. But it'll get you in the ballpark, and it may even accurately type you, but it's not going to give you the details that the MBTI will. This I can provide for you as an MBTI certified practitioner. Take the full MBTI, step 1 and step 2, and prepare to be amazed. I'll set you up with activities, practices, habits, good habits to develop your cognitive flexibility, to get you out of TI as your dominant function. And I'll teach you how to teach yourself how to consciously, safely drop into your shadow functions, or being able to easily recognize when you're using your superego functions, how to best use your subconscious functions as well. So I see here a great rebirth in your sacral chakra with the lion here, moving into your solar plexus. Again, it's masculine fire energy and one of expression, and that is all 5th house energy. This is all lion. In the traditional tarot, the major arcana card of 8 or 11, depends on which take you have on the tarot. Cards 8 and 11 can be switched, but represent strength card, which is Leo energy. 8 is a number of strength, and in the traditional tarot, it's the picture of a feminine with her hands opening the jaws of a lion or closing them. You can't tell. That's why it's left up to interpretation and reading the energy in the moment of that card. This is the nature of intuitive exercises like tarot, and being able to read energy, because everything breaks down to energy. Let me finish off here. The ancient Egyptians believed that lions were sacred animals, and the lioness goddess Sekhmet was widely worshipped. Sekhmet is a warrior goddess as well as a healer. What areas of your life do you need more strength for? And how would you put this extra strength to good use? I'm picking up that there's a lot of healing in your sacral chakra, a lot of healing in your creativity, and you're balancing out your sacral and your solar plexus chakra. That's awesome. Let's jump into the tarot. Take only what resonates. It's an intuitive exercise tarot, and where you, INTP, can identify synchronicity and you can find links in the description box of where you can get your chart read, find out what your sun, moon, and rising signs are, plus all the other planets and what house they are. You have to know your exact time down to the minute of your birth, or if you don't, you can still plug in and find out, generally speaking, where the planets were and in what houses they were at the time of your birth. I'm going to use the Celtic Cross spread, which is 10 cards. The first card identifying your current situation and the energy around you. Second card would be a challenge to that position. The third card would be results of the first two cards. The cards 4 through 6 are cards of distant, recent, and future energies you should expect based on the first 3 cards. And then the 7th card is you, my dear INTP. 8, 9, and 10 are your expression, your anxiety, your fears, and 10 being the final result of all the energies playing out for your highest good and the highest good of everybody involved in the situation. All right, without further ado, your current situation energy is that of the Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter. Because the Jungian tarot differs in what planets and what signs are attributed to each of the cards, that's why I'm using the guidebook. Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, archetype of the mother as Fortuna, destiny, fate, bonanza, opportunity, increase of wealth, optimism, order, and generosity, love of beauty, great expansiveness and creativity, association with law, religion, and education, social gatherings under negative influences. It is about overproduction and gluttony. Total lion, 5th house energy of the ego, absolutely. Jupiter rules the 9th house of your zodiacal chart, which is the sign of Sagittarius, which is mutable fire energy. Leo is fixed fire energy. And Jupiter is masculine in nature. It is the planet of luck, of expansion. It's a social planet. It's not a personal planet. And it's about higher learning, about philosophy, and yes, about religion as well, dogma, ideology, but mostly learning and higher order thinking, higher self thinking. The challenge to this for your INTP is, and by the way, like it would be Jupiter energy and 9th house energy, and Jupiter's influence on us is very much TI. And TE, and intuition. The challenge is that of this is chapters ending. This is the World card, which is the final card in the major arcana, or the hero's journey. So we go from card number 10 of the hero's journey in your present energy, that of the Wheel of Fortune, to the challenge being the final card, the World card, which is represented by all the 4 fixed signs: Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. Saturn, and also the planet Saturn, which rules the 11th house and the 10th house. Archetype of persona, outer appearances, the earth, practical matters, materialism, time and time past, ambition and delay, avarice, land, agriculture, heavy materials, structure, slowness and deliberateness, conservative, old matters, old people, caves, ruins, corpses, sorrow. This is all TI. This is your dominant function. What is your inferior function? What do you need to balance out your dominant function? You need FE. You need more attention on the external, on the tribe. When you survey your 3D reality, INTP, you're quick to identify TI, which is, a reflection of your internal landscape as it is. But in order to gain cognitive functioning and to accept this cycle of completion or change in the persona, here with Saturn is the deliverer of karma. It's about structure, it's about responsibility, it's about discipline. And right now that's a challenge to this fortunate Jupiter energy of expansion of your mind. So I foresee here, and what the cards are saying is that you're too much TI dominant, and you can use FE to judge the external more than you are turning that lens into the self with TI and being introverted. So this means using your tertiary function of sensing and getting out into the world more. As I described, that's how I developed cognitive function flexing or flexibility. Was I decided when I was very young that I was no longer going to sit on the sidelines. I wanted to jump into the game. And with TI, you're so brilliant at observing that, I don't know if you've experienced this, that whatever you've been wanting to, whatever game of life in this case that you've wanted to play in whatever area or arena, you've observed it long enough that you're often the ire, the envy, even like there's a hatred of TI dominance, because you're so damn smart, you're so observant that you can observe, and you do far too long, an activity, for example, like playing a sport. You can jump in and you can pick it up, and it's like you've played it, all your life. And this is what creates so much envy on the part of others. Don't be afraid of jumping in and making mistakes. This is how you learn. This is what you will, and this is what will make you real and relatable to the tribe, FE, right? Is that, you're not, although you are kind of superhuman, being an INTP, and you are the smartest, you're not relatable, because FE is in your inferior function. There is a reticence, there's dare I say, a fear on your part to really commune with the tribe, because everything's dumbed down at that point. I get it, INTP, but you can really become that star player in any sort of event, in any arena that you want to, because you've taken the time to observe so much. You have such an internal, a strong, brilliant internal structure of discipline, of organizing the self, that you can teach that to other people, but you have to open up your mouth. You have to relate to other people using your judging function of FE more often to balance out, because they work on an axis, right? You have an opportunity each time that you're taking in information from your subjective reality, from the 3D reality, to use FE and consider, okay, what is not me? What would be to the benefit of everyone involved and not just me? What makes sense to the group and may be clouded or disagreeable for you, INTP. That's what you want to consider more often when using your dominant function. All right, the outcome of this, world card on top of the Wheel of Fortune, and these are the cards of karma. I see for you, you're in a place where you're just about to step out into the world and really experience karma. You probably have some karma to pay off. Everybody does. But I'm picking up more dharma on your part. But it's going to take you to reach out and communicate and commune with others. FE. All right, so the outcome is the Queen of Cups, which would be Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer. Ah, yeah. Cancer rules the 4th house of our zodiacal chart. Its ruler is the moon, so it's all about emotions. By the way, your sun sign is your ego, your moon sign are your emotions, or actually the sign that you feel you are, and your rising sign is, I interpret it as the energy or the sign that you should embody in this incarnation, in this lifetime. This is where the universe, your creator, or the universe wants, or your higher self, let's put it that way. If you're atheist or agnostic, TI dominance, of course, you're going to be thinking about your higher self, and maybe that's as far as your thinking influences in your life affect you. It's your higher self. I'm fine with that, so just go with that. And readings like this, intuitive exercises like this, the messages, the triggers, the information, the synchronicity that you experience, for you, INTP, should be considered coming from your higher self, all right? So, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer, Queen of Cups, the emotional mother, highly emotional and sensitive. Of course you are, INTP, because feeling is in your inferior function. Affectionate but self-protective, which makes her seem difficult to approach, INTP. Fun, charming, a loyal friend, absolutely, if you let people in. Naturally suspicious, TI, heck yeah. Domestic, oh yeah. I mean, how many of you are identify with being a 5 on the so-called Enneagram? Overprotects children because you have, many of you have had, I was about to say horrific, that's maybe a little bit overly dramatic, but I'm an INTP. I had a horrific early childhood. And as a result, you better believe I respect children. I adore children, and I'm a magnet for them. They love me, along with animals. It's crazy. And lastly, but not least, physical beauty and luxury are important to you. Absolutely. That sense of feeling abundant and secure, root chakra energy, solar plexus energy, and sacral chakra energy of the lion. So, in your distant past, you've got the Emperor. So, this is major arcana. So you have 3 major arcana cards out, and then 1 core card with the Queen of Cups. In the distant past, this could be your energy. You were stepped into the Emperor energy. It's Aries, the sign of Aries. It's very TI. It's very NETI. It could also be FI. So, when your dominant function switches from TI to FI, it's like going from the hero to the nemesis, where, it's like your own worst enemy. If in a low vibing over-controlling Emperor energy, as TI and Mars energy can sometimes become. Let's read from the deck. Archetype of father. Pioneering leadership, impulsiveness and enterprising behavior, dislike of taking orders and insistence on being in complete control, TI. The emperor makes his own rules, TI. Creates his own order, TI. His outward aggressive impulse is essentially intellectual, TI, as opposed to the qualities of the mother. If I haven't mentioned it, the goal ultimately is to balance your masculine and your feminine. TI is naturally masculine and feminine, as thought or air energy is masculine, and the I, the introversion of that masculine thought swords energy, is introverted. So you're the queen of swords, which is very, very powerful. Happens to be one of my guardian angels, but that's for another reading. That's in the distant past. This could be an outside influence, or this could be you. Most likely, it's both. You were triggered by some outside force that pushed you to become more introverted and really, find a safe haven within the self, which you've well structured within you, INTP. But more of a retreat into safety. And my advice, or the message coming through earlier, was to get out more and commune with people and communicate with them, share your thoughts and ideas. Maybe it was a bit too overwhelming and you retreated. Or this could be you. Take what resonates. And you are in the distant past. You've made that choice. Let's find out what happened in the recent past. 6 of Cups, which is Venus in Cancer. I'm learning this deck as it's new to me, and it differs from the traditional tarot. Sun in Cancer. Sympathetic attachment, care for family and special associates. Person sees self in terms of service to group. What was I just saying? So in the distant past, you walked into emperor status and you got out there or you went inside or forced inside, but here recently you've decided to get out there. FE mostly. So your inferior function, person sees self in terms of service to group. That's awesome. Individual submerged in collective mind. Not so awesome. Probably very scary for a TI dominant. Self-reliance may disappear. Ooh, yeah, very, very scary. Strong attachment to external things, people and possessions. Potential for somewhat masochistic behavior. Very TI. Very INTP. So that's in the recent past. Let's find out what's in your near future. Should all these energies play out, we have, 10 of Wands. Wands is masculine fire energy. 10 of Wands in the traditional tarot is Sagittarius energy. So this is mutable fire energy. It's of Jupiter energy, which was the first card out for you, INTP. So synchronicity. Get your chart read. Know what signs all of your planets are in, and then learn the planets. And this is what you'll learn slowly but surely as you watch not only this reading but my other readings and other readings of other tarot readers who are well versed in teaching astrology associated with the cards and the numerology. It's all one. It's all related, and it's all coming from your zodiacal chart. That's what the Enneagram is, the so-called Enneagram. It's the first 9 houses of your chart, which are the first or the only personal houses of your zodiacal chart. The remaining 3 are collective houses. Okay, I digress. 10 of Wands. Saturn in Aries. Okay, Saturn rules the 10th house and the 11th house. Saturn, I know Saturn very well because it's in my first house. The first house is ruled by Aries and the planet Mars. The first house is about the self. It's the baby boss. It's the leader. But it's also the first house. It's where our soul incarnates, where the divine, where the universe kind of like zaps us down. Star Trek, beam me up, beam me down, Scotty. Scotty being the creator. And literally, the energy that we are comes from the stars and our solar sun into our first house ruled by Aries. Careful management, well-reasoned plan, TI, and control of structured group, TI, TE. Function within organizations, success through large companies, isolation and loneliness at pinnacle of authority, TI, it's lonely at the top. I mean, it's hard to have TI or be an INTP because everybody knows you're the smartest in the room. They'll never admit it, or if they do, it's with resentment and envy, and sometimes even hate, right? Tending to ostracize and isolate us because we're so inclined to use that introverted energy, but it's to our detriment because these idiots know that they need us. Tendency to react defensively and irritably to badly organized ideas. FE, right? That's your inferior function. Groupthink, tribe mentality is not for us. INTP irritates the heck out of us. There's a lot of responsibility that you have with being a TI dominant and intuitive dominant. All right, so this is you. This is the energy that you're currently in if this resonates for you. Oh, I like this already. It's the Son of Swords or the Knight of Swords. The Prince of Swords in the Jungian Tarot. Sun in Libra and Moon in Libra. The idealist sun, graceful, charming, romantic, may rely too much on others, loves to love and escapes the coarse world in storybook fantasies, delightful companion, easily hurt, easily reached through emotions, runs from conflict, may withdraw from society or become seriously emotionally ill. FE, FI in the inferior function, that's what it's describing. But it's also describing, I think, you wanting this, you are naturally very sensitive, INTP, and this is your current position. You are an idealist. And sometimes, you get butthurt over how you're treated. This is your power. These are lessons, life lessons on how to deal with the tribe and their mentality. You're strong enough to take it. If the roles were reversed, INTP, these people would they would resign from life. Let's put it that way. What you've been through and what you continue to go through, most people cannot handle it. And that's true of all the intuitive dominants. That's why we have intuition as our first or second function. Because our creator, the universe, that's why we comprise only 20-25% of the world's population. And most are sensors. Sensors live in root chakra. They experience the world through their five senses and not through intuition. Although everybody has the four functions. It's just that theirs are in their third or fourth position of the cognitive function stack. We are literally superheroes to them, and freaks and geeks. All right, so what energy is this Prince of Swords expressing? The devil. Capricorn. 10th house. 10th house is the first collective house. It is literally the workplace. It is the public's view of us and our place, our destiny, and how we're to relate to the public. INTP, you are meant to be a leader in the world. We need your mind and your thinking and what you've been through to be expressed through FE. But in this card, this is the archetype of shadow. You are doing shadow work. This whole spread clearly indicates this. And I congratulate you for stepping out of TI world and stepping out of your bubble and willing to make mistakes. Look the fool, play the fool. Fool is the 0 card in the major arcana, which is the hero's journey. This is my card of faith. This is the planet Uranus. This is the planet Pluto. This is brilliance. It's genius, literally. But it's also faith. So for my agnostics and my atheists out there, you know, at least you have faith in your higher self, and that's enough for now. But I'm going to convince you that there is a greater power out there that is contributing to all the gifts and yes, all the lessons that you're being presented with. But you are willingly doing shadow work right now, INTP, and that is amazing. Let's read it. Archetype of shadow, material force, steadfastness, control over the material condition, which is at once thoughtful and serious, diplomacy, extreme conventionality, caution and frugality. Only science is taken seriously. Religions, institutions, and psychism are considered to be nonsense. That's why I mentioned so much to you who only prescribe to the higher mind, the higher self. If even that, and why, you know, TI really does, you're highly skeptical, and you should be. That's nothing to be ashamed of, but know that you're so much more than your cognitive function stack preferences. And flexibility needs to be gained in all of your cognitive functioning, so that you can experience more of life and not be afraid. And I see this for you right now, INTP. You are giving off this energy of doing shadow work. It might be really dark right now, but you have Jupiter on your side. You have Saturn, which is teaching you these lessons. You have in your distant past an Emperor energy that is also showing you where you try to control the 3D experience way too much. But then there was a lessening of that. There was more with the 6 of Cups here. What was it? Venus in Cancer? There was more of you sharing and dropping into your inferior function. And also your tertiary function, which I leave without a polarity for a reason. It should not be considered on your part, INTP, to be SI. Remove the I from it and just consider sensing. And know that, you know, 3 is the first number of the universe that can create change and should be utilized. That tertiary function should be utilized to observe through your senses the 3D experience. So don't, you know, it's not always about going into memory, which you so brilliantly do, because you have, you know, so many fine details. It's highly scientific, SI is. Because it is, you know, it's about going back in your memory, which is really, really strong. Or it could be really, really weak, because what people don't talk about with SI, what I've experienced, what I found to be very, very true, my subconscious stack as an ENTP is that of the ISFJ. Their dominant function is SI. brilliant people about going back and identifying old structures, old lessons, old experiences that have worked or failed, you know. That's what memory, you know, does for us. As an ENTP, it's my inferior function. I don't like to go there. But what a lot of people don't talk about SI doing in that recall of memory and experience is not only it's just the facts of the matter and the images associated with those past experiences found in our memory banks, it's also the emotions that come with it. And that's why as an INTP, sometimes, you know, you can live in memory and really only glom on to or hold on to those memories that produce in you in the moment, in the now. Being a time traveler, time doesn't exist. Everything past and future exist in the now. So when I say you're a time traveler, in the now, accessing memory banks, going back into past hurts, past loves, past experience, you know, it brings with it emotions. That's what a lot of people don't realize about time traveling. But you, with TI, you're judging observation function, and I know NE is your perceiving function, but TI is an observation function. TI or T, air, energy, is mental thought, ideas. It's also images. So, you know, when you do try time travel to look back at past experiences that were positive or negative, there are images involved. Am I right? Not always. Maybe it's, you know, impressions, but generally speaking, I'm going to assume that most memory recall, a majority of that are images. But again, you know, SI carries with it a lot of emotions attached to those images. So you're currently giving off a lot of energy of doing the shadow work and really recalling those past hurts, those past lessons that Saturn is bringing you, is asking you to do for your benefit, because there's a lot of abundance that comes out of the shadow work that you are currently in. What hesitations or anxiety or fears may come out for the INTP in this process? We have the Prince or Son of Coins. The coins, earth energy, we're talking about the tertiary function. There's a synchronicity right there. I've just talked about the tertiary function of sensing. It's going to be SI, for you, mostly INTP, but what you need to really work on is SE. Get out there and experience life and in the 3D reality, and not retreat so often as you are prone to do, and using that brilliant mind of yours to recall positive memories from your past. Get out there and create new memories. That's what your shadow work involves. This is going to flex your third function. And that's what the function, or the third tertiary function, is for, is to you to experience and choose to observe with SI and SE in a balanced way. All right. Son of Pentacles. Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Libra, the self-assured sun. Thoughtful, self-assured, achieves success through force and personality. Popular and well-liked. A good companion, pragmatic, most comfortable with science, but drawn to the occult. Inner conflict about what to believe, maybe arrogant and demanding, tending to alienate. The outcome is the devil card. Wait. Did I have a... Oh my goodness. My TI is just going, I made a mistake. The outcome is the devil card, the archetype of shadow, but this card is temperance. This is temperance. This is great. Temperance is Sagittarius energy. Temperance is, oh no, it's the lover. This is a new deck to me, and the images and the assignations of the planets and the signs are different than the normal tarot. This still applies. It's awesome. So this is the lover card. Gemini energy, the mind, third house, archetype, and we've been talking about the tertiary function. This is synchronicity, folks. Archetype of original man, duality, diversity, swiftness, decision between two alternatives. Do I choose SI or SE? Discrimination, union of opposites. This is especially a card of mental agility and of adaptability. And I misread it as shadow work, but this is proof that you are doing shadow work, and this is the final result is the archetype of shadow card in the devil card, and you see how I mistook them for the other. They're literally the same images. This being the moon in the background of the devil, all in green. Green is the color of the heart chakra. And you have two people bound, almost mummified, with a pentagram or a pentacle with a fish representing Pisces and what's it called? The snake eating its tail. This is the shadow card. Temperance is Sagittarius energy, the final house of our zodiac that is personal, 9th house, is before we move into the 10th house, which is Capricorn, devil. So, I did it again. This is Gemini, the lover. Okay, the lover's card in Gemini for me, as it relates to, my goodness, my TI is screaming right now. I'm a bit embarrassed. The lover's card relates to the devil card and the shadow work card because the lover card is all about the left and right hemispheres of our brain. Very TI, right? And you, INTP, balancing out your masculine and your feminine. So I see you here with the sun or the Prince of Pentacles and the Prince of Swords, really using SE and using FE more often in your life. And ultimately, the lover's card for me is, yes, about choices. It's about maybe coming in to a divine union or a union with another person in the 3D, platonic or romantic, but it's more about, for me, the self-love that's generated when we balance out our introversion and our extroversion, or our feminine and our masculine within each of us. All right, I think I'm going to end the reading here. This has been awesome. I'm sorry about the mistake I made, but you know, there are no mistakes. There are only synchronicities. And whether it was the lover's card or the temperance card, Sagittarius energy, both Gemini and Sagittarius are mutable air and fire, respectively. This is about change. This is about really balancing out the masculine and feminine, yes. And creating that self-love and getting out there more with the Sun of Pentacles and the Sun of Swords. This is really great. And we have Sagittarius energy. That's probably why I thought this was Temperance card. Because in your near future is the Ten of Wands. Fire energy. All right. I'm going to conclude this here. I really appreciate a like. Hit that bell if you'd like to subscribe and become a subscriber here at Entpgathering. More MBTI specific readings are coming for intuitive dominance. Be sure to check out Entp. Check out Intp for you, INTP, as well as the shadow reading. Your shadow function stack is that of the ENTJ. That's coming here in the next few days. For now, you can find the ENTP already posted. And at the very least, you can go back to a few weeks ago when I started doing MBTI specific reads for the intuitive dominance. I promise more and regular and also shorter readings for you INTP in the coming weeks. And you can handle this as well. What I often do with these readings that are over 15, 20 minutes that I'm not accustomed to watching, that are over an hour. Where are we now? Yeah. Oh, here's some synchronicity. It's 1 hour and 11 minutes and 22 seconds when I took a look at the time and the length of this video. Where was I going? Let's see. Hit the icon, the settings button on your screen, whether it's on your phone or your laptop or whatever, and adjust the playback speed. It removes a lot of the air, and I don't edit these videos because the likelihood of you experiencing synchronicity decreases when that occurs. But you can speed up the entire thing and still get every single second, but sped up for you if you adjust the playback speed. So double it up, ×2, and spend half the time and still get all the information, all the downloads, all the messages, and experience all the synchronicity that you would watching it at regular speed. Ideally, you can come back to this reading as many times as you want and review certain sections or the entire thing. So ideally, you watch it in regular time all the way through once, and then jump back and maybe tomorrow or next week, re-watch it. Because by then, some of the lessons, some of the messages you've taken in, and you may have experienced them play out in your 3D reality. This is the nature of how this all works. It's amazing, it's magical, and I know you're skeptical of these things, but truly, all these things are related, and they're related to our zodiacal chart. They're related to the planets and their influences. Everybody has free will. That's the thing that throws us off in really jumping in and believing this stuff. Trust me, I was a skeptic, and I still remain skeptical to this day. But I'm more skeptical of the energy that does not belong or that I do not want in my life anymore. So it's identifying codependent relationships. relationships or potential harmful relationships that no longer serve me because I have awakened. I have developed cognitive flexibility. I'm no longer blindsided or fall into repeating patterns of behavior and having to relearn the same lesson cloaked in a different guise or different experience. There is no such thing as time. Everything that has ever occurred and or will is happening right now. It's cyclical. It's the precession of the equinox. It's our solar cycle each year. It's our moon cycles. Everybody has a moon cycle, not just the ladies out there. The moon travels through every single sign roughly every 28 and a half days. And we feel the energy of the sign that the moon is in through the moon, through our intuition, through our feelings, through cups energy, through water energy, through the F function, the feeling function of our cognitive function stack, or in our cognitive function stack, because everybody has the same functions. What makes us different, or seemingly different, apparently different, is the order of those functions and their polarity, whether they're introverted or extroverted. So I could go on. I love talking about this. I hope you enjoyed listening to it, and you can take away whatever serves you right now that resonated with you. Throw out the rest. Call it junk. Call me a fool. Because anymore, I gladly wear that title. And I just wish that for you, that at least one message, one trigger, one healthy, good trigger you experienced in this reading. And then can take that and play with it out in the 3D world and grow from it, and to better understand yourself and the crazy world that we're experiencing. All right, until next time, I'll see you in the next reading, and namaste.